My name is Sheila Sechi. We're coming to you live from our studio here at Kokomlimle in Accra and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 and across the world on myjoyonline.com. Our lead stories this are: Energy Ministry and GridCo assure the public of minimal electricity disruptions during the scheduled maintenance by the West African Gas Pipeline Company, set for Sunday, January 18, 2026, that is today, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And NPP flag bearer hopeful Dr. Yao Osei Educhum calls on the party's leadership to exercise restraint following the decision to begin formal processes to expel former Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. And later this evening, it is the AFCON 2025 final showdown as Senegal and Morocco battle for continental glory. We'll hear from expectations of some sports journalists. We're your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Please stay with us for details. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Now to our very first story. The Ministry of Energy and the Ghana Grid Company Limited, GridCo, have assured the public of minimal electricity disruptions during scheduled maintenance by the West African Gas Pipeline Company. In a statement issued on Saturday, January 17, 2026, GridCo said it had been formally informed by WAPCO about mandatory maintenance on its gas facilities in Ghana, set for Sunday, January 18, 2026, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. The company assured that alternative fuel arrangements have been made to ensure continued power generation and a stable electricity supply during the works. Stakeholders across the energy sector will remain actively engaged to monitor the exercise and ensure its smooth completion. GridCo apologized for any inconvenience and called on the public for understanding and cooperation. And it reads: the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition and the Ghana Grid Company have been formally notified by the West African Gas Pipeline Company of scheduled mandatory maintenance works on its gas facilities in Ghana. The maintenance exercise is planned for Sunday, 18th January 2026, from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And as a result, there will be a temporary interruption in gas supply to thermal plants located in Tema during this period. The public is assured that this maintenance activity is essential to ensure the continued safety, reliability, and integrity of the gas supply infrastructure. Adequate alternative fuel arrangements have been put in place to guarantee the continuity of power generation and to maintain a stable electricity supply throughout the duration of the works. Stakeholders across the energy value chain will remain actively engaged and will closely monitor the exercise to ensure its successful completion. Any inconvenience that may arise during this period is deeply regretted, and the cooperation and understanding of the public are sincerely appreciated. Now let's head to the camp of the NPP. NPP flag bearer hopeful Dr. Yao Osei Educhum has expressed satisfaction and commended Ghana's recent economic gains, including low inflation and cedi stability, but emphasized the need for continued efforts to ensure sustainable growth and national transformation. Speaking on Newsfile, Dr. Educhum said that based on the benchmarks set for the country over the years, President Mahama is performing well. However, he stressed that more work is needed to sustain the gains.
The government comes in and is able to do certain things. It's not about politics. It's about looking at the reality and saying, I like 5% inflation. It's a good thing. Brings stability. I like the fact that the cedi is stable. It's a good thing. But when I put on my hat at somebody who is looking at how do I eradicate poverty from the face of this country? How do I build a robust economy? How do I create an export-driven economy that will generate the revenue, the money, to stabilize the currency without artificial injection? The situation we find ourselves in is just like a medical doctor who is dealing with a patient in crisis. Patients come in, they are not stable. Medical doctor comes in, able to stabilize the patient. That is where the real work then begins. After the patient is stabilized, then you have to begin to find the cause of the crisis. And once you find the cause of the crisis and you deal with the cause, then the patient is home and free because that crisis will not occur again. Right. So we are in a good place with stability, but you have to look beyond that stability to say, if there's no oxygen on the patient, what will happen?
He has also appealed to the party's leadership to remain calm following the decision to initiate formal processes to expel former Minister for Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng. The move follows comments made by Professor Frimpong-Boateng during a television interview in which he described the party as fake and questioned its internal democratic credentials, stating that the 2023 presidential primary was rigged in favor of former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll appeal to the party leadership to really calm down. In our culture, even age, just mere age, right? That you are older, you should be respected. But you have somebody who has accomplished so much in his life. It's a two-way street. The party gave him a platform, but he also enhanced the party by bringing his expertise to the table. At the time when we were in opposition, a surgeon of his caliber being part of the party was a plus for the party. So even if some words are said that we don't like, we have to find a way to deal with it in such a way that we do not create a situation where he's further vilified through comments by many other people. I will appeal to my brother, older brother, who I really respect. I used to serve as a member of his ministerial advisory board as a deputy minister at the time. And I worked with him closely as a member of his ministerial advisory board. His passion for innovation, for environmental issues, and many other things is worthy of commendation. So I appeal to him to also calm down and cool down. Better days are coming. When Dr. Edishum is the flag bearer, we are going to bring parties together.
And with less than 2 weeks to the new Patriotic Party's presidential primaries, aspirant camps are stepping up efforts to secure victory. The camp of Kennedy Japan has blamed Ghana's current challenges on failures by successive administrations. Speaking at the launch of Politics, Honesty, Discipline, the Japan Doctrine, the campaign's policy director, Dr. Kenneth Kluche, said a lack of discipline among political leaders has weakened governance and slowed national development.
The motivation in writing this book is to make sure that our posterities, those who are coming, those who will come and meet maybe our dead bodies, will see that there is a day that somebody reset the mind of Ghanaians. We want to develop. I am from America, or I live in America. I don't want to be there. There is a saying in Akanda, so your question, look at the environment and see whether they are obliged by that. If there's some way patriotic, also say some way patriotic, and patriotic, don't mind and can bring yesana, I say a quota, and can so fra. Anyway, send yen so into menum, Ghana to Hanamoso Yede, Yetonsio. Mini Wochebi. Now, bra sebre no ye fa bucket ko insum ya ko se so begu ahinam ni anom anya hoden. And now bet me ayesa. Yes, we nyina say. We don't love our country anymore.
Dr. Kluche further stressed that Ghana's development ambitions cannot be realized without a renewed commitment to patriotism, discipline, and other critical national values, which he described as non-negotiable pillars for sustainable growth.
3 pillars that Ghanaians urgently need. The book that we are talking about, the PhD, they are the 3 pillars that every nation, every country is built on. Without one, it won't be successful. But with the 3, every developed country is successful. So this is the heartbeat of the PhD. A mindset of a fearless nationalism, uncompromising truth, and disciplined action. It rejects silence when truth is costly and refuses selective accountability. Ghana does not lack ideas, we lack will. We do not lack laws, we lack enforcement. We do not lack leaders, we lack courage. If Ghana needs courageous leadership, clap your hand.
Now, DKT International Ghana, producers of Lydia Contraceptive, Fiesta and Kiss condoms, in partnership with the Ghana Health Service, has launched a new injectable contraceptive, Femject, to expand reproductive health choices and help reduce unplanned pregnancies and unsafe abortions in Ghana. The following report has more.
At a time when maternal mortality and unplanned pregnancies remain a public health concern in Ghana, DKT International Ghana and the Ghana Health Service have introduced Femject, a new injectable contraceptive designed to give women more control over their reproductive health. Speaking at the Accra launch, Country Director of DKT International Ghana, Alex Brown, said the 3-month injectable contraceptive was introduced in response to last year's contraceptive shortages, offering an affordable option to help curb unplanned pregnancies, reduce maternal deaths, and unsafe abortions.
Well, what we're doing here today is launching Femject injectable contraceptive. And what this is essentially is a contraceptive that is used by a lot of women. It's a 3-month injectable contraceptive. And last year, the country experienced a bunch of supply issues with this kind of a contraceptive. And the market was pretty dry all year. So we decided that in order to offer this kind of a contraceptive to all the women in Ghana who want to use it, that we would put a product on the market. It's not given away. It's a product that is commercially available at as low a price as we can offer it and still be commercially viable to put it out there, because we want to make sure that it's there continuously for all Ghanaians into the future.
Producers of Femject say the injectable targets women between the ages of 18 to 44 years and meets international safety standards. The product is designed to be easily administered by trained health professionals across health facilities. According to Paul Ede, the Regional Business Development Manager for Anglophone West Africa at DKT Women Global, Femject meets international safety standards and is designed to be easily administered by trained health professionals.
The Femject is not for self-injection. The person has to be injected by a certified medical practitioner. So if there are cases of side effects or excessive bleeding, then the person can always go back to their medical practitioner to get help. It's WHO certified. So all the necessary precautions and certifications have been done before the products get to market. So for Femject, the target audience here is the women that want them to use it, women of reproductive age, from women from 18 and 44.
The launch also received support from the Ghana Health Service. Speaking at the event, the program manager for family planning, Dr. Doris Ametefio, assured the public of FemJect's safety and effectiveness, stressing that the product has undergone the necessary regulatory approvals. She further explained that the Ghana Health Service has put in place robust monitoring system to closely track its use nationwide, ensuring client safety and maintaining the highest standard of family planning care.
Before a product is introduced, studies have gone on. It has been ascertained that it is safe, it is reliable, it is effective. This has already been done. Ghana Health Service, in partnership with DKT, will never introduce any products when they are not sure of its safety, its effectiveness, and all that. When it comes to tracking, any woman that is giving any contraceptive method, the woman is scheduled periodically. The woman comes for review. Within the community, we have community health nurses, we have the midwives, those who go on home visits. So whenever a woman is given any product, she's followed up. If she has any concerns, she comes back to the facility. These concerns are documented and followed up, and then the necessary interventions are given.
DKT International Ghana says FemJect is soon to be available in health facilities and partner clinics across the country by Monday as part of efforts to improve access to family planning services. For Joy News, Deborah Enimwa Beidu's report read to you.
Now, organizational psychologist and Arthur Bwachiwa Glover has revealed that one of the most therapeutic tools in a relationship is reading and the use of relationship agreements, noting that both play a critical role in promoting emotional wellness. According to her, reading helps individuals gain a deep understanding of themselves and expectations within relationships. She further explained that relationship agreements provide clarity by allowing partners to openly discuss values and communication styles. She spoke on Consulting Room on the Joy News channel.
So some of the tools, and I will use tools and skills maybe interchangeably.
Okay.
The first one that I would recommend, honestly, is for people to consider therapy. And therapy, I really want to destigmatize therapy. Therapy is not just for when you are facing some, neurosis or psychosis. Those are the main ones that we know. You are either hearing things or seeing things. No. Therapy is just for you to understand yourself, understand who you are, understand.
So if I get you right, everybody should see a therapist before you enter into a relationship?
No. It's not. I wouldn't call it a prerequisite.
Okay.
The key thing, whether you do it before or during the relationship, is therapy helps you understand yourself. Okay. And if you can't afford therapy or it's inaccessible, there are other ways that you can also learn about yourself and the other person. Another tool besides therapy would be like reading.
Reading.
People would read. I mean, we go to conferences, don't we? We go to conferences, we go to meetings, we read books. Why not do the same about relationship? Why do we learn about everything in our lives except for relationships? If you go and start a new job, what will they do? They will onboard
give you an
orientation, induction. They will give you the tools and the skills if you don't have.
Right.
Maybe once a year, have you go for training, leadership courses, this, that. We train ourselves on almost everything except for the personal responsibilities like parenting and relationship. But those are two of the most critical. So what I'm trying to say is when you need to learn about yourself and the other party, you need to take a relationship almost like it's something you need to learn. It's not something that comes so easy. It's not something that it's just like that. You need to learn. And you can learn by reading. I'm a published writer as well, so I believe in books.
Yeah, you're a writer.
You can read books about relationships. There are many books about relationships, books about emotional regulation, books about communication. The same way there are books about how to influence and win people or how to win in business or entrepreneurship. There are also books about how to show up in a relationship, how to be a better partner. That's another one. Another thing people can do, and I really believe in this, is relationship agreements.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to formalize. I didn't get that reaction. I'm not trying to say, relationships should be super formal, super strict. But I'm saying that we are unique and individual beings.
So how do we get
30 years of life experience? You're also coming with yours, and we're coming to meet. There has to
what should be the content of the agreement?
So the agreements are simple things like we will not go to bed angry. We will not argue after 10 p.m.
Okay.
We will have, sometimes people have relationship meetings. We will have a relationship meeting once a week. The meeting is not to argue, just to say, how are you doing, Sue? Today, this week, how are you feeling? How am I affecting you? Is there anything I've done this week that you would want me to look at? And the same is asked of the other person.
And to a rather unfortunate news, 2 pupils lost to tragic bee invasion at Anloga EP Basic School have been laid to rest. At a joint funeral attended by hundreds of mourners, the Anloga District Chief Executive pledged stronger measures to protect school children. My colleague Imanoji reports.
The mortal remains of 9-year-old Theodora Amawavi and 4-year-old Michael Kumako are led through the principal streets of Anloga. A slow, painful procession marked by tears and broken hearts. Hundreds have gathered to bid farewell to the 2 young learners of the Anloga Evangelical Presbyterian Basic School, victims of a deadly bee invasion that struck the school premises on the day pupils were vacating for the Christmas break.
Nimako Lois Asantewa Amaovi Theodora Ntifafa Kumako Michael Weldon
For the families, the loss is unbearable. Under the very tree that once harbored the deadly bees, the bodies of Theodora and Michael lie in state. The District Chief Executive, Sandra Serian-Kwedo, also extended government's condolences, pledging support to the bereaved families and reaffirming commitment to school safety. A school mourns, a community grieves, and 2 young names are etched forever in memory. Imanoji, Joy News, Anloga, Volta Region.
And our condolence to the families of Theodora and Michael. On that note, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more news. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still live on Joy Newsroom. Now, for decades, the rainy season meant isolation for communities such as Arano in the Techiman North District. as flood water submerged roads and cut residents off from essential services. Repeated appeals for intervention went unanswered, deepening years of frustration. However, a promise made just 3 months ago has delivered a remarkable turnaround. In just 90 days, a newly constructed bridge now spans the once impassable stretch, replacing floodwaters with steady movement and renewed hope. The harm of construction has given way to relief and optimism, marking a transformation for a community that had long been neglected. Anna Sabit has more in this report.
This is the new sound of progress here in Aurano. But for over 30 years, the sound here was one of frustration. Since 1992, communities like Aurano, Jama and Misedine felt forgotten, their roads and bridges crumbling, their connection to other parts of the district severed every time it rained.
How can you say so twankasa and so ne roads no ekwa amanfo fie ntina ntimi emabimokra wa bonte omundimi san mrafie obi nso ofie a eden se obepie ntina e how pa na e haye e okrodua yemu
e how dey bebro ntutuo ene even most especially in so time easy ho so need to make sure say na upia kokompa na yeden.
Their cries reached their Member of Parliament, who also doubles as the Trade Minister, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ajare. She promised action, and in a break from the past, action came swiftly. What has happened since has given the entire area a massive facelift.
Sania omatumia drains na ni nyina efa babia ekogu gates ne oda yimu no aboaye e de anije bebre abakuru yimu.
Just 3 months ago, contractor MJB and his team arrived. In 90 days, they have delivered what decades could not, a massive infrastructural facelift. The critical Aurano Bridge now stands firm with extensive drainage networks snaking through the communities, promising an end to the annual floods.
Hotel, Ninja Quano, Waya, Ubusa, Oya, the Akayina, the South Susan, the Edia Maumo.
The structure is more than concrete and steel. It is a symbol of reconnection. And today, the very MP who championed it is here on a surprise visit, not just to monitor, but to share in the community's palpable joy.
You saw Aurano before this construction. If it rains, people of Aurano could not cross from Aurano to Kenteng and vice versa. I didn't think this was fair. Every year I'll try to put some temporary measures in place because, you know, my government was not in power and there was not much that I could do. So I assured them that once Excellency John Dramani Mahama comes, their roads will be fixed. You see, the bridge is done within 2 months.
Her vision extends beyond just solving the flood problem. She sees this as a catalyst for a new future. Upon completion, the plan is to plant trees along these streets to beautify the community and to actively combat climate change.
There's going to be an innovation. This is Techman North. We will always set the pace. So we've decided that with all the road construction that's going to go on, we're going to plant trees along the road to make it beautiful. Also, you know, the ozone layer depletion, we know the climate change issues. Techman North wants to take a very bold step.
The MP's vision extends beyond mobility. She sees a road that will revive economic activity and put money in the pockets of the people.
You see, they change the economy of this area. We can cut our produce to the farm and all of that. So I think that this, in effect, will help.
The official timeline from the Bono East Feeder Roads Department is 18 to 24 months. But the regional manager admits the starting pace is a game changer.
Works is to be delivered within 18 to 24 months. That's the completion period. But so far, what the contractor has even done is beyond 50% in less than 3 months. So we say we are ahead of schedule.
In Techman North, a narrative of neglect is being rewritten at an unprecedented pace. The promise was a road, but the foundation being laid here is for a renewed hope, commerce, and a community finally in control of its own destiny. For Joy News, I am Anna Sabit in the Techman North constituency.
And And back in Accra, residents of Ablekuma Fan Milk in Accra have taken to the streets to protest the deplorable state of roads in their community. The demonstrators say years of neglect have made daily movement difficult and unsafe, especially during the rainy season. My colleague Stephen Menson was there and has been speaking to some frustrated residents.
My sisters have both gone now. One was Georgina, the other was Mami Efua. After the autopsy, doctors discovered they had cancer. They explained that their lungs were severely blocked. Largely due to prolonged dust inhalation from the poor state of our roads. We urgently need these roads fixed.
This is one of the major roads that will be linking Ofanko, Amasaman, Lomlava to the greater part of Accra. And what you may see behind me is not just a mere coincidence. This is one of the major concerns for residents living here in Ablekuma Fan Milk. Earlier today, they protested, raising concerns about the assurances government has made to them about the construction of this road.
We complained several times to the assembly. If we report this one, they didn't take action, next step, we are going to bend a tie on them. It is illegal, but it should be like that. It should be like that. Because the government, if it seems, if you don't bring yourself out, they won't see you.
For traders along this stretch, business has taken a painful hit. Sales have slowed, while constant dust and worsening health conditions deepen the daily struggle. Among them is Antiama, a kinky seller whose once busy pots now sell a different story, one of survival rather than profit.
You are forced to buy goods at very high prices. Yet, if you cannot afford a taxi, getting back home becomes almost impossible.
The municipal chief executive for this area has been indicating that proposals have been made to government to ensure that finances are provided for the construction of this road.
Some of the roads, the drains have already been done on either side. So the asphalting to some level, and the average I saw from the costing from the roads engineers about 54 million. That's the Agape Pentecost to Bawi.
But the residents are not all that convinced. They say that government has made these assurances for quite some time, and they will want this road fixed as soon as possible.
If they should not heed to this peaceful protest to do what we want, then the next step will be taken. I came to Ablekuma Fan Milk when I was a kid. Now I'm a grandpa.
For many of these residents living here at Ablekuma Fan Milk, they are concerned about their safety, concerned about their health, and the safety of their children. Reporting from Ablekuma Fan Milk, I am Stephen Mensa, reporting for Joy News.
The chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, has urged party executives to prioritize support for government appointees in the delivery of the party's electoral promises aimed at improving governance and raising the standard of living for Ghanaians. Speaking during a thank-you tour in the Bono region, Mr. Esiedun Ketia stressed that corruption continues to drain national resources and undermine development. He cautioned that both former and current leaders would face the full rigor of the law if found culpable in corrupt practices. There is more in this report.
With his printed images and futuristic as inscription, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, stormed the Bono region on a two-day thank-you tour, visiting 12 communities in 11 districts. Engagement with the chiefs and community members centered on developmental requests and the government's commitment to honor all promises made ahead of the 2024 elections. At Brekum West, the chief of Jinejine, Nana Tutuba II, acknowledged the government's stance on abandoned projects and appealed for the completion of the Agenda 111 facility. What I like about this government is its legacy projects. that they will continue all uncompleted projects because it's government money. We heard the government will complete 10 Agenda 111 this year. We are pleading to see the completion of ours in Brekum West to support healthcare. Asiadun Ketia said corruption among politicians must not be treated as child's play, adding that both past and present appointees will be made to account for their iniquities.
We
knew the previous government left the country in a bad state, and we asked for power. That is why we are doing our best to fix things. While we fix things, we will demand accountability from the previous government, and we will retrieve every penny illegally taken. And it's not only MPP members, but NDC members will also face the same situation if found culpable. He also expressed worry about the negative impact of party executives jostling for limited appointment instead of supporting others to help deliver the party's promises. He called for patience.
As I say, I had been free, say, post. Now me chrome for me. Now
we all have to move away from the mindset of being appointed, which could deny the people of development. And we should give the government time. If a few appointees could govern with enough surplus resources to drive development and improve the lives of Ghanaians, then that will be good governance. So we plead with you to have patience. If you didn't get an appointment now, you could in future, depending on how you conduct yourself. Precious Semevo, Joy News, Jine.
Now, the chairperson of the annual Northern Ghana Regular Baptist Churches and head pastor of the Faith Fundamental Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Timothy Seidu, has urged Ghanaians to develop a culture of tree planting to help restore the country's rapidly depleted forest cover. He noted that illegal mining activities and indiscriminate logging have significantly reduced Ghana's forest resources, stressing the urgent need for deliberate reforestation efforts. Reverend Dr. Seidu made the call while speaking at the annual WA Central Conference of the ANG-RBC, where he expressed deep concern over the extensive destruction of forest and pollution of water bodies caused by illegal mining. Rafik Salam reports from WA.
The annual Northern Ghana Regular Baptist Churches, ANG-RBC Fellowship, which comprises of 9 churches, ANG-RBC Fellowship, which comprises of 9 churches that constitutes the WA Central Zone, was held in WA. The 3-day conference was held on the theme Stewardship of the Believer, categorized into 3: Stewardship to Governance, Environment, and Their Lives. Chairperson of the WA Central Zone, Pastor Noah Al-Hassan, threw further light on the theme of the conference.
What are the dangers and what are the cautions we have to take? Are we going to be compromising with everything? No, but it's good. If we are not even going, what can we do to help governance? Because government put it in order. They bring about peace. If there's no peace, we can't come together. Then come to the environment. The environment. How do we take care of our environment? The land is not our own. God has given it to us, and we have to take care of it and make sure that we leave it for other generations to come and take over. So how do we even treat yourself, or maybe take care of your environment, the outside environment? These days we've been hearing of galamsey, and other things. So we are, by this, telling our people that they shouldn't involve in some of these things.
Chairperson of the ANG-RBC and head pastor of the Faith Fundamental Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Timothy Seidu, expressed concern over the rate of illegal mining in the country, which he will want Ghanaians to refrain from.
So our water body should not be polluted, whether it's sea water, whether it's our rivers and our streams. And then especially in this regard, these days, we have the problem of galamsey. And then galamsey has come to be more a harm to our economy than the good we desire to get out of it, because we end up polluting our waters. And just apart from the muddy nature of the waters, we have mercury and other heavy lead cast into the water, and we will end up drinking these chemicals that will be hurtful to us, or they will get onto the soil and then get into our plants, and we will consume those plants, and we will have difficulty with our health.
Reverend Dr. Timothy Sedu urged Ghanaians to cultivate the habit of tree planting as a way of replenishing the depleted forest.
We need to find a way to revamp the forest. If you cut a tree, try to plant the tree. You may say, oh, it's in the forest far away. How can I plant a tree right in the forest? Well, you can plant a tree in the front of your house. You replace it at a different place, but that is taking care of the earth. If we all cut trees and we don't plant, then we'll run out of trees and we'll have problems with our oxygen supply.
Head pastor of the World Regular Baptist, Reverend Aquila Dramani, also hammered on the issue of wanton destruction of the environment, but his focus was tilted towards the youth.
Guide against and caution our youth and our people that we should stay away from that. Christians need to protect the environment. Christians are the custodians of what God has given us. God tells us that we are the people to subdue and have dominion over the earth. It means that we should make good use of the earth and the things that God has given us. So I call upon our people to know that since we are the children of God, we need to keep what God has given us.
Some of the members of the church shared their thoughts on the conference.
We are so grateful that we have met as a family, as people of God, together to give thanks to God.
What I learned today at our women's side was that it is about the talents God has given to us. How we are to use these talents to enhance ourselves and also to be an encouragement unto others.
Reporting for Dwayne News, Rafik Salam. Wah.
And the Ghana Navy has intercepted a major illegal fuel bunkering syndicate off the eastern coastline, strengthening efforts to safeguard the country's marine environment. The operation, conducted earlier this week at approximately 1 nautical mile off the coast of Aflao, was carried out by the directive of the Chief of the Naval Staff to dismantle the fuel smuggling network. Commodore Solomon Esiedulabi, flag officer commanding the Eastern Naval Command, disclosed this in Tema, and Kwame Yanka reports.
The Ghana Navy has busted a major illegal fuel bunkering syndicate operating off the eastern coastline in what authorities describe as a direct threat to the country's economy and maritime security. The interception took place about 1 nautical mile off the coast of Aflao, following actionable intelligence and a directive from the Chief of the Naval Staff. Naval personnel seized 7 locally fabricated dugout canoes and nearly 400 empty barrels, each with a capacity of 250 liters. The Navy insists these were not fishing vessels, but equipment specifically designed for fuel smuggling at sea. According to the Eastern Naval Command, the syndicate operates with a mothership stationed beyond Ghana's territorial waters, where fuel is transferred into barrels under the cover of darkness and ferried ashore by smaller canoes. Here is Flag Officer Commanding Eastern Naval Command, Commodore Solomon Esiedulabi.
As I speak, there's a concurrent operation ongoing on land to degrade or to weaken the operations of these illegal fuel bunkering syndicates. The effects of such an activity is very injurious to the country as a whole, this activity denies this country of the much needed revenue through evasion of taxes. Also, you cannot tell the quality of fuel. This fuel is illegal. You cannot tell, so it can affect the engines of the vehicles or the machinery that use them. And also, in the course of their activity, a lot of fuel is spilled into the water, affecting the maritime flora and fauna. Again, the local fisher folks indulge in this illegality with excitement without knowing the injury they cause to the economy of Ghana.
Meanwhile, Command Operations Officer, Eastern Naval Command, Commander James Jigbodi Agra, touches on investigations.
The reason why we brought them to Harbour is to conduct further investigations into it and trace the owners of these dendis. So these are locally made canoes, purposely to engage in the illegal fuel bunkering. They are not registered because their activities are illegal, so they are not registered. But once we conduct further investigations into it, we'll be able to trace their owners and then we'll bring them to book.
Present at the briefing were Commanding Officer of Ghana Navy Ship Aflao, Lieutenant Commander Albert Brobe Damois, and Acting Director, Public Relations, Naval Headquarters, Lieutenant Commander Ezekiel Akunai. To maintain the country's territorial integrity, Ghana Navy says it has deployed more assets at sea to ensure the country remains safe and secure. From the Eastern Naval Command here in Tema, this has been Kwame Yanka for Joy News.
Well, you're still live on Joy Newsroom. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's do some sports. The grand finale of the 35th Africa Cup of Nations takes center stage later today at 7 p.m. And as the Terenga Lions of Senegal lock horns with the Atlas Lions of Morocco, victory in today's men's final would end a 50-year wait for Morocco's second AFCON title and serve as validation for the country's heavy investment in sports. Senegal, winners of the 2021 edition, are also chasing a second continental crown. BBC sports journalist George Addo has been analysing how the match would unfold and shared his insights with Nathaniel Atto on Joy Sports Link.
Of course, I expect that Morocco will continue what they have been doing against West African sides. They'll be looking at pressing when they have to press, especially when you cross the halfway line. Senegal is slightly sophisticated when it comes to comparing what Cameroon and Nigeria offered. We've seen Senegal firing some shots from 25 yards or 28 yards. So Senegal would not be too concerned about trying to pass the ball deep into the penalty box of Morocco. They'll also try some shots as well. So their attack is kind of different. And the blend of the Senegal team, you've got youngsters, you've got players who are just about in their 20s, and you've also got some very experienced players. Like Sadio Mane's contribution to this Senegal team is unbelievable. Very sensible passes, dangerous defense-splitting passes, and he's able to choose and pick the moments like he did against Egypt when he scored the goal. He has got that third eye. However, Morocco will be another one to go to. I mean, was it Chicho or Yao Fent I was telling? After the game between Nigeria and Morocco, when I woke up silently, I was hearing in my mind, in my ears, I'm not in the stadium, I'm at home in my hotel, but I was hearing, oh, the Mama Grape. It was just bouncing in my head. I'm like, this is it. They are going to be singing this one, chant it on to make sure that they win.
Meanwhile, Joy Sports editor Fentu Tahiru Fentu has also been speaking about his expectations ahead of the clash.
For the opposition and the energy which they mostly feed off from the fans, it's incredible because right from minute one, they went at Nigeria and they put them under enormous pressure to the point where even when Nigeria had possession, couldn't find solutions in spaces and they couldn't locate their forward man, passing lanes were cut out. So it was a very organized performance from Morocco. Senegal, on the other hand, I think much like Morocco, they haven't also exactly been or played superlative football. They haven't blown teams apart, but they've been so efficient and have done the job when it's necessary. I saw the game against Egypt. Not that I was surprised with the way he panned out. I mean, Joe was on commentary position, so he probably have a lot more to say about that. But you could just, obviously, I think that was a strategy of Egypt. Coming and defend. That's what they've done mostly. I mean, they don't care about possession. And Senegal against Egypt, you know that Egypt did not have a shot on target until the 84th minute, which was a feeble effort of the head of Mustafa Mohamed. The entire game, one shot on target, and even that shot on target is merely a statistic because if you see the actual shot, there was no chance of that scoring. You understand? So it was a dominant performance from Senegal as well. I'm happy because I think this is the final many people would have predicted before the start of the competition. After the start of the competition, obviously people would have started to revise their notes a little bit, seeing the way Nigeria were playing. But before the tournament kicked off, these two were definitely the two teams that many people would have picked to go all the way to the final. Amazing. This is for me, this is a demonstration or evidence that the modern game, especially when it comes to the AFCON, we are long past the era of fucking results. The best team will always find their way to the top. These are the best two teams on the continent. They've shown it. They've reached the final. It was never going to be a shock. You can't just wake up, come to the tournament, come and cause any upset. That era is long gone. This tournament, even from the quarterfinal stage, only one team in the last 8 had never won the AFCON. That was Mali. Every other team in there was a big boy.
Well, the finale of the African Cup is tonight at exactly 7 p.m. Well, that's how we wrap up. My name is Sheila Sechi. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Thanks for your company this afternoon.